It is time. It is time. It is time to get out of pocket with Michael Davis right here, exclusive to Boom Broadcasting. Guys, this is going to be a fun episode. First of all, I want to acknowledge everybody who watched yesterday's show for Out of Pocket. I was blown away. And I saw all the comments, I saw all the engagement, everything like that, which really, really helps. Like, if you have, like, a hard day at work or you're going through other stuff and, you see people are actually watching, engaging, enjoying the content you're putting out, it's really uplifting. And one of the cool things was yesterday's Out of Pocket was the most viewed Out of Pocket we've had in 4 months of Boom Broadcasting, which, yes, we're celebrating that today. We launched this on July 1st. 11 minus 7 is 4. So it's the 4-month anniversary for Boom Broadcasting. And we've grown the team. We've grown everything. We got Dugout Debrief. We got Sideline Savants. We got 3 from Deep. Just several of the new ones that have happened. The Gridiron Address. And then you got some ones that have been OGs. The Nightcap, Wrestling of Destiny, It Stinks, Quick Hits. The list goes on and on and on. I get to do a podcast with my dad and the boys. And so if you guys are enjoying this content and you're already subscribed, first of all, if you're not subscribed, it's free, first and foremost. But if you are enjoying this, send it to a friend. Say, hey, these guys are working really hard. Maybe you'll like this as well. And guys, I appreciate you. And we do these live shows so you guys can comment on the YouTube channel and let us know what you want to talk about. But later this episode, we're going to bring in Zach Colburn from the Watauga Democrat and ZWC Sports to cover some of the college football. Can Duke stop Cam Ward? And Cam Ward is a Heisman candidate right now. He hasn't been stopped, but Duke's defense playing pretty well. So that's going to be a great matchup. We got Penn State, Ohio State, a top 4 matchup as well we'll cover. And then the NFL. Jason, Mr. NY. He co-hosts Sideline Savants. He has a new show, NBA related, 3 from Deep. And you met Cody Johnson last week from the Drew Code Sports Talk. They do tremendous stuff. He's been in the comments all week. Both of them tied for NFL picks last week. So they're both back later on this episode. And it's going to be fun to talk to them. And in addition, you're going to see a new face, Dom, from the It Doesn't Matter podcast. Now, I'm not being mean. It's really the It Doesn't Matter podcast. I've been a guest on it several times. If you guys are wrestling fans, that's some content you guys want to check out. And Jason saying much love. He's watching us on Facebook before he comes in near the top of the hour. It'll be about 5 till, give or take, when we get everybody on for NFL picks. But before I welcome in Zach to talk some college football, I got some unfortunate news. Paolo Banchero, former Duke Blue Devil, has run out of magic, and he's currently injured. He will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, but his timetable to return is unknown because he has torn his oblique in the Bulls game this past Wednesday night, just a couple days ago. It's very unfortunate news. Very, very unfortunate. Found this news out of how significant it was after Out of Pocket went off air last night. And it's crazy because not only is this a Duke guy, and so I'm rooting for him, but the Orlando Magic is really built on the back of Banchero. First overall pick back in 2022, just a couple years ago. And he looks like he's finally coming into his own. Like, he was good. Hey, I think he made the All-Star team last year. And, of course, you start out the season. I didn't like him playing against the Miami Heat. He had 33 points, 11 rebounds. And then the next couple games, he's struggling a little bit. Shooting from the floor is about a third, maybe a little less. Wasn't his free throws, and you could tell he was struggling. And then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I know the Pacers didn't have a good reputation about playing defense last year, but you want to let a guy in 40 minutes score 50 on you, drop 50, add in 13 rebounds, add in 9 assists, add in a couple blocks, add in a steal. Why not? You want a steal? Paolo Banchero is going to get you a steal. And then, of course, leaving that Bulls game Wednesday night, 31 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He had torn his oblique, which really stinks. I mean, and of course, like these standings, especially early on in the year, they're going to fluctuate. Currently, they're 3-2, which makes them currently the 4th seed in the East. But yeah, you can't put much stock into that. But what you can realize, I'll be honest, guys, 4 to 6 weeks without your biggest star is going to come back to hurt them, because you can think Cleveland's going to be in that contention, Boston, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, the Pacers might, hover around there, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and before you know it, when he does come back, the Magic might find themselves in a very, very difficult situation, a very difficult thing to overcome. And if I was them, I would never wish injury on anybody. But if I had to choose a time frame, I'd want this injury to come in February when you've established the team you are. But now that he's hurt now, I don't like that, because all of a sudden that could derail this team. They're going to have to rely on Jalen Suggs, who just got extended. They're going to have to rely on Wendell Carter Jr. But is the bench with Cole Anthony and Gary Harris and Jonathan Isaac, is that enough? Is that enough for the Magic to stay afloat until Banchero comes back? Guys, this was some of the worst news you could have heard. He's going to stay engaged with Orlando. He's going to try to travel the best he can, go to practices, obviously, and just a stand-up guy. He said he's hoping it not be a multi-month injury, 3-4 months, but hopefully rest well, Banchero. Thinking of you, praying for you, and that you can continue to play well for Orlando. Also, Jason, 3 from deep, sleeper team, drops 50, and then this. Yeah, this is very unfortunate news for Banchero to tear his oblique. And Jason was like, "Hey, Banchero, guys, watch out. Cavs 5-0, first place. That won't last for long. Boston, yeah, Boston's going to eventually be the number 1 seed. Now, eventually, I'm going to be joined by a good friend of mine. We both like wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll want to, stay tuned, because we got first-time guest Dom from the It Doesn't Matter podcast. Again, that podcast does matter. It's just the name of the podcast. But somebody who matters a great deal to me is my next guest to talk some college football. But before we go into college football, he's also a Duke fan. So I'll ask him real quick, from the Watauga Democrat, from ZWC Sports. I'll ask him about our beloved Blue Devil, Banchero. Zach, I'm sure you did not like hearing this news either. What is the shirt you are wearing, my friend?
That would be AEW, man.
I like it. We're repping right now. We're repping right now.
Oos. Yeah, the news about Paolo was just devastating to hear. I mean, and the scariest thing about with Paolo was he was on Coach K's last team at Duke back in 2022, and unfortunately, over the years, Duke players have had a reputation of, starting out really good and then getting hurt and then struggling to find that rhythm again. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Paolo.
Dude, I hope it's not going to happen. He's doing well. Hope he makes a full recovery. And speaking of Duke, they have quite the matchup this weekend. If you guys haven't been paying attention to ACC basketball, let me catch you up. Duke is good, particularly on defense. But they go into this game. They're on the road in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium playing a Heisman candidate right now in Cam Ward, who literally is unstoppable. He is not stopped. But Duke's defense is also legit, and they've been able to stop these offenses, but they haven't played a quarterback quite like Cam Ward. Zach, are you concerned going into this game?
Oh, very concerned. I mean, here's a stat that a lot of Duke fans may know or may not know. I think they forced 6 turnovers against SMU last Saturday. No points out of it. And they lost in overtime. Had 2 chances to win that game. And now you got to go to a top 5 Miami team. Ooh. It could be a long night, but I fully expect the Blue Devils to hold their own.
And you mentioned last week with the SMU game, and I was listening to Manny Diaz on Inside Access through the ACC network, and I mean, he wasn't shy about it. He probably called them out in the players meeting beforehand, but he was like, hey, when your defense forces like 6 turnovers and your offense can't put points up on the board, like, I mean, basically putting the offense on blast. Like, I don't know what it's going to take to get, Malik Murphy and this offense going, but one can only hope. I don't know if you have any idea on how to get them starting to go rolling.
I feel like that's been a recurring theme all year for them, is that the defense, they've been leaning on their defense. You can only have the defense on the field for so long before the offense has to, step up and do something. And you would think, 7-8 weeks into the season they'd have a little bit of their offense figured out, but they still don't. I mean, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And I'm honestly, like, I understand Miami's 5th ranked in the nation and everything, but Duke games have been close. This line right now is favoring Miami by 20.5. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Mac even saying new OC, new offensive coordinator in Duke. Maybe that could help utilize Malik Murphy's legs a little bit too. Maybe.
Of course, it doesn't help that your top running back from a year ago is now playing right down 15-501 in Raleigh. It doesn't help that.
Does not help that. If you had to give a final prediction on this one, who do you think wins, Duke or Miami?
I think Miami wins, but I feel like it's going to be 14 points or less is my prediction.
Dude, I would love that. I would feel really good. Obviously, I want the win, but I would feel really good if it was, the first defense to really put pressure on Cam Ward and make him just be like, oh, it's not that easy. But not only are you and I Duke fans, we are also App State fans. And well, sort of. I went to school there. I'll claim them. I'm not a fan of what they're putting on the football field right now, which hurts a lot. Appalachian State hosting Old Dominion this weekend. How do you feel this going? Do you see App State turning things around?
They have a chance if they're to turn around. I mean, honestly, last week it was kind of surprising that they were able to beat Georgia State, come back and beat Georgia State in a game that really was just back and forth the entire time. I mean, I think 8 lead changes, and what a lot of people don't realize is, App has the lead, turns it over, and I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, oh boy, this one could get out of hand, but they somehow found a way to win it. I mean, and you're gonna have to do that, going forward. And Coach was saying, this reminds him a lot of last year where they went on their run. Now, if they're gonna, get to a bowl game, because I think they need 3 more wins to get to a bowl game, they're gonna have to run an absolute gauntlet, because you've got Old Dominion, you've got Coastal Carolina in a short week, then you got the bye, then you got James Madison coming, and then you close out the year with Georgia Southern. That's just that's a brutal stretch, and they're gonna have to either run the table or at least take 3 of them to have a chance.
Yeah, dude, it's not going to be easy, especially with Coastal and JMU right after this Old Dominion game. So it feels like, honestly, it feels like a must-win for the Mountaineers. Do you think they pull it off? Old Dominion's currently favored by 3.
The good news is they're at home, and aside from an absolute debacle against South Alabama, they've played well. They've played well at home this year. I mean, granted, their only other 2 games have been last Saturday and then the East Tennessee State game.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it is at the Rock. I mean, if you can get the fans into it and you can stay engaged, they're gonna have a chance, and they're gonna have they'll be playing for a lot. Armani Edwards is gonna be there, getting honored, and you don't want to disappoint Armani.
You can't lose if Armani Edwards is in the building. You can't lose.
You can't lose in front of your to take a page from Roman Reigns' book, Appalachian State's tribal chief.
Can't lose. Can't lose. Now we'll switch back to some ACC play because we want to cover the rest of it. Louisville at number 11, Clemson. Clemson unfortunately has not made things easy on teams like App State, but Clemson and Louisville is the game this weekend. Clemson currently favored by 10, which I was kind of shocking. I know Louisville's 5-3. I know Clemson, they've lost 1 game this year, but 10 points at home is the line. I feel like that's a little bit too close in this one, Zach.
Yeah. I mean, Clemson, like you said, they've only had that 1 loss, and that was to Georgia beginning of the year, and of course, a lot of teams have lost to Georgia. So, but Louisville, you come in, they're gonna be focused, but I think Clemson pulls this one out, and I think they'll cover the spread.
Hey, he thinks they'll cover the spread. Yeah, I think it's going to be Clemson by like at least 3 scores. It's going to be at least 17 points that Clemson wins very comfortably. A closer game I expect is 18 Pitt at 20 SMU. Should SMU be in the ACC? That's a whole other discussion, unfortunately, but it is a top 20 matchup. Probably playoff implications. Pittsburgh hasn't lost yet, and they're going to SMU in Dallas to, potentially swing momentum in this conference. Who do you expect to pull this out?
I'm going to have to go on a limb and say Pitt here. I think Pitt pulls the win on the road because SMU. You think back to last week against a Duke team that's good but not great at Duke, and your offense plays that badly, and the only reason you win is you can thank your special teams because they won on a block field goal attempt that basically saved you guys. And Pitt's shown they can go on the road and win some games, and I think they'll do it this time.
I don't have as much confidence in Pitt this weekend. SMU's favored by 7, and Duke's defense is good. Duke's defense, I believe, is legit. We'll see how it fares against the caliber of Cam Ward and that Miami offense. But I'll be honest, I really think they're going to fix whatever happened offensively. I feel like that's a once in a lifetime thing where you turn the ball over so many times. SMU's played well. Could have lost last week. Won't get in details of that. I'm not going to get riled up, but especially if it's in SMU, that's who I'm going to go take. A couple other games I want to cover outside of the ACC, and then we'll get Dom from the It Doesn't Matter pod. We'll get Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk. We'll get Jason from Sideline Savants and 3 from Deep. We'll get them in on the show to do some NFL picks, and we'll let Zach, go cover some football for Friday Night Lights tonight. But a couple games I want to touch before I let you go, Zach, is number 1 Oregon. They're going to be on the road this week, and it's not a cakewalk. Of course, you and I know that people can win in Ann Arbor at Michigan, but Oregon, Dylan Gabriel going on the road to play Michigan. Obviously, this is a different Michigan Wolverines team than we had last year under the tutelage of Jim Harbaugh. Do you think we could see an upset and have the Wolverines beat the Ducks?
Oof, I don't know. I mean, let's like you said, they gotta go 2-0, or they gotta go to the big house, which you and I both know not an easy place to go in there and pick up a win. But this isn't the same Michigan, like you said, same Michigan team as a year ago. And Oregon's playing some really good ball. They've got something to prove. But I will say this though, this could be a trap game because Michigan's gonna break. They're gonna bring it. I mean, and if Oregon slips up, I mean, it could happen, but I don't see it happening.
Well, I mean, if Oregon does mess up, one of these two teams could. I mean, it could be Georgia. They're a 2 seed. They're playing Florida. I don't want to jinx it, but again, it's Florida. One of these teams could duke it out. The Ohio State Buckeyes, 4th in the nation, going to Penn State, who's ranked 3rd in the entire country. Dude, wow. First of all, why do we have this game at noon? Because this is a game you need to have like primetime, brightest lights. But no, we get it at noon on Saturday. Ohio State, Penn State. What can people expect going into this huge game?
Well, it's like you said, I mean, you'll be curious to see what happens with them going with a noon kickoff, which is very surprising. But like I said, you got 2 top teams going at it. You got Ohio State, Penn State. I think Penn State pulls this one out, but it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to the wire. And like you said, I wish this one was in primetime because it feels like it has a primetime feel to it, not a noon kickoff feel. But as the saying goes, you play when you play.
You play who you play. If you had to pick a winner, currently Ohio State's favored by 3 on the road, which is astonishing to me. Who do you got winning this game?
I'm gonna go Penn State because I've always you said Ohio State by 3. I've always said basically just a home team at the beginning at a home team, you're basically spotting team 5 points. So I mean, I would say Penn State can overcome that and get a big win. But if not, Ohio State's going to get that big win and definitely, like I said, they may be flip flopping in the rankings.
Yeah, I think we get a flip flop now. It's hard to pick against Penn State in Penn State, but if you have a senior quarterback like Ohio State does in Will Howard, I think it's going to go well. He's had 17 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's had his best year by far, as opposed to the rest of his college career. So I could see it. You need a leader on that offensive side of the ball to help you guys out. And Jason saying it's a must win for both Ohio State and Penn State. Someone needs a quality win, and I think Ohio State gets it and makes things a lot more interesting. But Zach, I know that's all the time we had for today. Where can people find you, and what games are you covering?
Well, let's see. Tonight I will be up in Watauga for Watauga and Freedom High School. It'll be Watauga's last home game of the year and starts an interesting stretch for them. They'll be playing 3 games in the next 8 days because Hurricane Helene, changed a lot of things for them. So they play tonight. They'll turn around and play at Ashe County on Tuesday night, and then turn around and travel to South Caldwell next Friday. So I mean, they need to take care of business tonight early if I were them. And then of course I'll be up at Appalachian tomorrow for the game with them in Old Dominion. And like I said, I'll have tonight I'll have updates on ZWC Sports from tonight's game. And of course, you can read about all my work at the Watauga Democrat online and every Wednesday in print.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm not a fan of Thursday night football in the NFL. I'm even less of a fan of playing 3 games in 8 days. But I guess you do what you got to do, right?
You do what they tell them to. You do what they tell them to do. I mean,
hey, Zach, appreciate you man. Guys, if you aren't following him, he is a great guy to follow. I'll let you go, man. Enjoy your Friday night.
Sounds good, Michael. You take care, buddy.
You too. Now, Zach, thank you for joining us. He's a busy guy. So I appreciate him taking time out of his day to talk some football before he goes to cover high school football tonight, college football tomorrow. But guys, it's about that time. We're doing some NFL picks. We got a huge slate, including the Lions-Packers game, battle for the NFC North. I'm going to introduce these guys one by one, as I usually do. Joining us for the first time, he is the host of the It Doesn't Matter podcast. I've been privileged to be a guest on it for a couple of times. My latest episode was talking about Paul Heyman and his impact. Hopefully we'll see some Paul Heyman here soon on WWE programming. But I haven't got a chance to talk football with him. I don't know if I want to, because unfortunately. Oh.
What's going on, man? That's my squad. What's going on, guys?
Gross.
Oh man.
Well, I'll bring in the guy who debuted last week on Out of Pocket Picks. We did it on Thursday instead of a Friday. But he actually tied for the winner last week. I was like, hey, bro, I didn't realize this. I had a miscalculation. Do you want to hop on? And he's coming in a little a little big-headed, a little flexing game right here. But he's from the Drew Code Sports Talk. They do really good stuff. Found them through social media. They put a lot of work into reels. And I know I mentioned this earlier in the week. I was gone all of last weekend. I come back and see he had done a couple reels for Out of Pocket, which I really appreciate. But I'm not going to show him any appreciation now because I need to beat him. I need to humble him. We got Cody from the Drew Code Sports Talk. Appreciate you, man. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? Thank you so much for the invite.
Dude, I'm excited to have you on. I'm glad to keep inviting you, but I don't want to invite you for the reason of you beating me in the picks. Does that make sense?
Sure. I mean, I need a repeat as champions. Totally fine. So we can do this again if you need to.
All right. We can do this again. And then of course the guy who tied with Cody. And now talk about a big head. But he does have a big head. Because he can also shoot the three from deep. I'm not talking about on the court. I'm talking about behind a microphone, talking about everything. We got the guy from Three from Deep, the co-host of Sideline Savants. We got Jason Calenzo. Jason, how are you doing, my friend?
Fantastic. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing great. And hopefully I can win these NFL picks. Dom, I'll go ahead and say it. You're a Falcons fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. Our teams play against each other. And so how this will work is we'll all go around the round table and we'll predict who wins this game outright. Are you going with your favorite team for your first pick on Out of Pocket?
You know what? As much as I think the Falcons gonna win the game, I think the Cowboys are much hungrier and they have to prove that they're gonna, make a statement, and that division is, still somewhat open. But the Falcons, if you stop our run, it's a wrap. It's a problem right there. But the Cowboys, they definitely need it more than the Falcons. So I think the Cowboys are actually going to come out pretty strong. I hate to say it. And they only got the Falcons 3.5. So, yeah, it's going to be a high-scoring game. And our defense, you just take us out real quick. So our defense has been pretty, crappy as of late.
Nice, dude. I love that. Dude, I'm super excited. You actually picked against your favorite team, so I'm proud of you there. Jason, I know you hate the Cowboys. I actually heard you pick the Cowboys last week.
I did, and I was surprised you went the other way, but you got it right. You were on point. But I'm not making that mistake twice. Come on, Dom, have some faith in your team. Cousins is playing really, really well. He's playing a lot better than Dak Prescott. Look, the Cowboys, their defense is trash. Still no Micah Parsons, no Deron Bland. That team has no identity. They are a hot mess. I think Jerry Jones is literally going to explode here anytime soon. I can see the Falcons winning this game by a lot. That Falcons offense is a lot better than that Cowboys offense, and that Cowboys defense is trash. So give me the Falcons just destroying the Cowboys. And it's in Atlanta. So Atlanta is going to be hyped up. They're going to be talking mad trash. it's going to be an ugly game.
Well, that was the first ever place I saw an NFL game was Cowboys-Falcons several years back. Dad and I talked about it on Dad and the Boys. That's available on Boom Broadcasting, and the audio is available on Fans First Sports Network if you guys want to check that out after today. Cody, they're split right now. One's going Dallas, the other's going Atlanta. Where do you lie on this one?
Well, very similar to Jason. I did pick the Cowboys last week. Honestly, if there was a week that they could have gotten back on track, it probably would have been a beat-up 49ers team. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the case. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. I trust that offense a lot more. Kirk Cousins is throwing the ball really well. He's got a bunch of weapons, even though it feels like, they haven't quite hit their ceiling yet. I agree the run game is a little bit of a question mark. Maybe that's play calling, but Cowboys are a pretty bad defense, as you know, Michael. I'm sure you're going to agree, and you can't sugarcoat it. They also don't have Parsons. I don't even think they'll have Bland back this week. So those are two big key defensive players that aren't going to be there on that side of the ball. I do think it'll be a high-scoring game because I think the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott have a good rapport, but I think the Falcons will outlast them. So I got the Falcons this week.
So Jason and Cody sticking with the Falcons because they picked Dallas last week and they were wrong. And I was unfortunately right with that game. But fortunately enough, I'll be right on this one because I'm siding with Dom. I got the Cowboys in this one. One of my favorite memories was that first ever game where, there was a last second field goal right in front of me as time expired. And that was how I got to experience my first ever NFL game. And I think it's going to end up the same way. Dallas usually plays well against Kirk Cousins historically. So I'm hoping for that trend to continue. Next, we'll move on to what seems like, I'm not going to lie, kind of a toilet bowl. But it's less of a toilet bowl because we don't get Justin Herbert versus Deshaun Watson. We get Justin Herbert versus Jameis Winston. Of all quarterbacks, I mean, we've seen Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, former 1 and 2 picks back to back, serving as backup roles in this league now. Mariota backing up Jaden Daniels in Washington, played a little bit. Now it's Jameis's turn to take the reins of the Browns. Jason, who do you have in this AFC matchup?
The Browns Super Bowl win was last week. I don't see that moving forward. Famous Jameis. The Chargers are just a little bit of a better team. They have a better defense. Ladd the Impaler, Ladd McConkey has been playing out of his mind right now. So give me the Chargers. I feel bad for the Browns because they don't have really much to be excited about. Look, Chubb coming back on the field. I mean, what a phenomenal story coming back from that injury. Love it. He's a monster, but I don't see the Browns going. That Chargers offense is just a little bit better, and as much as I think Herbert is overrated as a quarterback, I'm not a huge fan of his. I don't tout him as like in the top, but I think him and Ladd are playing really, really well together, and the Chargers are 4-3 out of nowhere. So. Give me the Chargers in this one. I feel bad for Browns fans. It's going to be a long season.
Long season, even with famous Jameis. Cody, do you agree the Chargers pull this one out?
As much as a diehard Raiders fan that I am, and again, it's our AFC rival, I'd love to pick against them. But I agree with Jason here. The Browns basically had their best win of the season, probably in the last few years, last Sunday against the Ravens. And it was a miracle. It was a miracle win, let's just say. Jameis played perfect, which, by the way, no one talks about the play before where he nearly threw a pick if it wasn't for Kyle Hamilton dropping it. So we're just going to put that right there for now. But I think that there's just no way that the Chargers don't at least turn over the ball get a turnover from the Browns. I think Jameis Winston, he's interception prone. He's got to turn the ball over. They're beat up, unfortunately. It is what it is. They're going to be in a rebuilding stage, and they had a great win last week. But the Chargers, I trust that defense a little bit more. They may not have an efficient passing offense, but they run the ball efficiently. And I can see, J.K. Dobbins having a bunch of yards and them beating up on that Browns team. So I got the Chargers in this one. And unfortunately for me as a Raiders fan picking the Chargers, I have to go with with the truth here. So
he's going with the truth. Dom, is it a clean sweep for you?
I agree. The Browns, they had a good game last week. They looked pretty strong, but it was a fluke. They've been pretty crappy the whole season, and the Chargers are definitely going to come into Cleveland, and they're going to be driving the ball nonstop. So the Chargers with the win.
He's got the Chargers. Guys, I was a lone wolf on that Cowboys 49ers game. I think I'm going to be the lone wolf with this one. Call me crazy. Actually, this is a dumb idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to pick the Browns because of Chubb. Stefanski coaching for his job. Jameis, as much as I don't like Jameis, haven't liked him since FSU, he just has a different vibe and feel to him in the locker room. I think that could be enough. And they're at home. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Browns beat the Chargers. Now, moving on to the next game. Cody, you mentioned you're a Raiders guy. You picked the Chargers. Now we're going to go to the Denver Broncos, who are surprisingly 5-3 right now. And then they're going to the Baltimore Ravens. Jason's favorite co-host of Sideline Savants. That's his favorite team. But Cody, I'll let you go first on this one. Broncos or Baltimore?
Man, this is another tough one. So they both have pretty good defenses. I think the one thing I'm a little apprehensive of is the Broncos offense. I'm not sure if I'm buying if it's real or not, but I do trust the Ravens. And again, they just acquired Deontay Johnson. I don't know, though, if he's going to be that much of a factor in this game. I know that Derrick Henry is going to have his work cut out for him going against that, crazy pass rush that the Broncos have, but I'm still going to go with the Ravens. I think the game that they had against the Browns was more of a wake-up call that if they don't respect every team, they're going to get got. And I don't think that they're going to treat the Broncos like they did the Browns. And I think the Ravens are a better coach team. I like their roster better. They're going to have their work cut out for them. It's going to probably be a low-scoring game at the end of it. But I trust the Ravens, and I'm going to pick them to win this game against the Broncos.
He's picking the Ravens. Dom, do you agree?
I definitely agree. The Ravens are too strong. And I honestly think the Ravens will end up in the Super Bowl. I think they will beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And they have too many weapons. Too many weapons. They have Lamar Jackson. He will throw it. He'll kill you with his legs. They got King Henry. God, you already know this guy's a problem. They just picked up Deontay Johnson. They have too many weapons. So, and they have this point spread 9.5. Yeah, it's definitely going to be up there for sure. I got the Ravens.
Jason, is that a clean sweep? Are you making your commish happy?
This was a tough game. Look, I haven't even picked the winner on my paper yet. I was hoping for one of the panels to maybe sway me a little bit because I think this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. Denver is playing really, really well. That defense is legit. And Bo Nix, I mean, if you didn't have Caleb Williams, if you didn't have Daniels playing out of his mind, Bo Nix, you talk about a phenomenal rookie quarterback, man. He has been playing very, very impressive. I'm going to give it to the Ravens, and I'll pick the Ravens by a small margin. I think this is going to be closer than anybody thinks. I'm really concerned. Lamar hasn't practiced the last. I know it's probably veteran, just kind of sitting him out to make sure he's healthy, whatever. But Lamar, something a little tweak there, so hopefully he stays healthy. But give me the Ravens. But I think this is going to be closer. I think it may come down to a field goal or something crazy. But give me the Ravens. And Derrick Henry is the truth, man. Just give him the gold jacket now. Let him wear it on the field.
Yep.
He's leading the entire NFL in rushing yards by over 200 yards. That is ridiculous. What Derrick Henry's doing right now. Absolutely absurd.
How much did the Cowboys could have got him for? Sorry, I didn't want to throw that out there.
All right. Hey,
does Jerry Jones have enough money for Derrick Henry? He seemed to come up short, but he found it for Dak. I'm just curious, what was that all about? Michael, do you know why?
I don't know why, but I wonder why Devontae Adams' hamstring miraculously healed once he showed up on the Pat McAfee show with his buddy Aaron Rodgers. minutes
Yeah.
after he got
It's
traded.
Aaron
I
Rodgers got
also-
that good stuff. Aaron Rodgers got that stuff that'll cure you.
It's that cayenne and water special. That's what he was
That's
serving around.
I also wonder how much it took for Saquon Barkley to leave for Philadelphia instead of stay in New York. I mean, because everybody wants to go to New York, right? Like that's the American dream right there. All right, guys, calm down. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Podcast me saying what's good, fellas. He came at me yesterday on Out of Pocket, which wasn't nice, but he wore his 49er garbage and it worked out. For this game, I am impressed by Bo Nix. I think Sean Payton finally got his guy versus who like the front office wanted, and it's working, but it's not going to work against Baltimore. I got a clean sweep for this panel. Baltimore Ravens winning against the Denver Broncos. And then, talking about rookie quarterbacks, Bo Nix doing okay, but Caleb Williams going on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. Dom, when you look at this game, who do you got winning, Kyler or Caleb?
After last week, seeing Chicago play, who they play, Washington, that Hail Mary, and you seen the emotions out of Caleb Williams. That NFC North, that's a sneaky division. That's a tough division right there. So I got my money on the Bears this week. They're gonna regroup from that loss last week. That was a tough loss last week, that Hail Mary. So they definitely gonna come in. They're gonna get the win. They're
going to regroup. Rick 8-Bit, by the way, joining us. He's big into wrestling as well. John Harbaugh, 27-7 versus rookies. So everything's looking good for us. Jason, when it comes to the rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams, can he pull it out in Arizona?
I don't know. Going on the road, going out there, that was an emotional loss for the Bears. As a young leader, can you recover from that? That's one of those things that even veterans getting beat that way sometimes have a hard time bouncing back. Look, that Bears offense looked super flat last week. Going to Arizona, that's a long trip. Kyler Murray played fantastic last week in that comeback victory against the Dolphins. 307 passing yards, a couple touchdowns. He uses his legs too. Give me the Cardinals at home. I think they're going to upset the Bears. I don't think the Bears really have it yet. They've looked good at points, and then sometimes they look terrible. That defense better step up and do something spectacular because, they ate it last week, man. But on the road, give me the Cardinals. I think the Bears are going to have a rough time.
We're split right now, Cody. What's their tiebreaker?
The entertainer in me would love to go with the Bears, but here's the thing. I just don't trust the Bears coaching. Yes, they have a very good defense. Eberflus, though, I'm very nervous about it. Clearly, between the Commanders and Chicago, you can see which team was coached more disciplined than the other. And I'm afraid that in this game with the Cardinals, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that the Cardinals are this team that's going to, run through the league and it's, they're a sleeper team. I'm not trying to say that, but I think they're a team, though, that's a tough out. They're going to be a team that's going to put points on you in a hurry. They already have a victory over the Niners in a late field goal in the fourth quarter. So they can hang with teams that they shouldn't hang with. And unfortunately, I think this is where the defeat by the Commanders was the first strand pulled for the Bears to just, they were riding high. I think they're going to come back to earth. And what's going to happen is we're now going to see the struggles happening for the Bears team. So I think the Cardinals are going to remain hot. They're going to stay competitive in that NFC West. But for the Bears, I think this is where they start slipping a little bit with the how many games they're behind in that NFC North. And I just think that the Bears look like the weakest team in that division. And I think now it's starting to pull away, and we're starting to see that.
It's funny you say they're the weakest team in that division. I had the pick Chicago was going to win that division at the beginning of the year. Obviously, I didn't expect Minnesota to show up with Sam Darnold, Jordan Love not having a downgrade year right now. I think Montez Sweat, if he can go and put pressure on Kyler Murray, I think that's going to be pivotal. And the Bears, to me, need this win more than the Arizona Cardinals right now because, I mean, you look at the NFC West right now, the Arizona Cardinals are actually tied for that lead, and they're actually favored in that as opposed to San Fran and Seattle, who are all 4-4. Rams being 3-4. I think if the Bears hadn't had like the weirdest Hail Mary, they beat the Commanders. And we're talking about a different team. You know, we're talking about a 5-2 Chicago Bears team with Caleb Williams, with DeAndre Swift, with DJ Moore. And I think that's going to be the difference. I'm going to split the panel, and I'm going Chicago winning this one. And we talked about the NFC North being very highly contested. The Green Bay Packers host the Detroit Lions. Both of these teams are hot. If you saw my top quarter rankings on Tuesday for Out of Pocket, I went ahead and said that these teams were the second and third best team in the entire NFL. Jason, who do you think wins the battle for the NFC North right now, the Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers?
If I had a choice, I would go play with Dan Campbell right now, man. He is, I mean, you talk of the Lions are on a mission right now. Look, Jordan Love, I love me some Love, but a groin injury lingers. This might be something that lingers all season that can flare up at any moment. He can just step wrong and go back out of the game. And I don't see the Packers being able to keep up with the Lions if Love is not 100%. Look, those Lions have a two-headed monster in Montgomery and Gibbs. Those guys are awesome. I think they want to be called Sonic and Knuckles. I believe is their nickname there. So give me the Lions. Goff playing like an MVP. But the fun fact of the day is Daniel Jones actually has more passing yards than Jared Goff right now. But you know the Lions are where they 6-1 and the Giants are 2-6. But Goff. He's having a kind of a sneaky MVP season. He's got that team running on all cylinders. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, the Sun God is phenomenal. Laporta's getting hot now. The Lions have too much weapons. I just don't think the Packers are going to be able to hang with them.
So Jason's got Detroit. Rick 8-Bit in the comments saying Green Bay Packers pull the upset. So Cody, you're already having to split the crowd right here. Who do you got, Lions or Packers?
Man, this is a tough one because, I mean, these are two really good NFC teams. Lions, no doubt, are probably more likely to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl with how well they're playing. And according to what I'm seeing here on ESPN.com, it's supposed to rain in Wisconsin and Green Bay, so that favors the run game. And who has the better run game? Detroit. And even though Green Bay Packers have Josh Jacobs, former Raider, he's also injured coming into this with an ankle injury, and I think that's going to slow him down a little bit. Jordan Love, if he does play, is also kind of been turnover prone. He's had multiple games in a row now with 2 or more interceptions, even in this season that he's played so far. Detroit is really good about getting your quarterbacks into turnover situations, and the secondary flies all over the field. And I don't think it'll be a blowout in any sense. I think Green Bay is well coached by Matt LaFleur to really play well, but Detroit, strongest team. The run game is just out of this world. That offensive line, no one can touch it. There's not a lot of fronts that are going to get past that. Jared Goff, even though he has less passing yards than Danny Dimes, threw 3 touchdowns only on 15 passes, for less than 90 yards. That's extremely efficient. And the Lions beat the Tennessee Titans 52-14. That's 3 phases of football they beat them in. And I think Green Bay, they maybe not healthy enough. I don't know what it is, but Detroit, this is their year. They're just on another level right now.
So Jason and Cody all going for Detroit. Dom, would you agree with that?
I do agree. This is definitely going to be the game of the week. Everybody's going to be watching this game right here. And the Lions, they're out there right now. They're having fun. They have too much manpower, and the running back committee is crazy with Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, so you already know they're going to be running the ball a lot. And St. Brown, he's going to get deep. He's going to get open. And, yeah, the Packers, they are suffering from some injuries right now, the hamstring issue with Jordan Love, but I think the Lions are definitely going to take it. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I believe.
You're thinking it's a high-scoring game. I think so. I think it's a blowout. I think it's a Detroit blowout. They were close against Minnesota a couple weeks ago. They blew the brakes off Dallas. We all know that. They blew the brakes off Tennessee, but that's Tennessee, right? I think Detroit comes in here and they just put pedal to the metal. punch Green Bay, who isn't healthy, like Cody mentioned, and I think Detroit wins by 20 points.
Ooh. It's a lot of disrespect to the Packers. I know I chose against them, but that's some disrespect to the Packers.
Wow. I think it's 40-20 Detroit.
40. Wow. Okay.
The Lions are a team that don't get slept on. They don't look at it. They like some of these other teams have had some letdown games because they thought they were going to be easy victories. Yeah. I'm telling you what, Campbell, dude, that coaching staff, he hypes them boys up every game. I don't care who they're playing. Mm-hmm. They are going to go in there and they're going to want to destroy the Green Bay Packers, especially being a rival. Detroit is trying to make a name for itself that it belonged in the Super Bowl last year, and they want to make sure they go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these aren't your grandpa's Lions, that's for sure.
No. Statement game. Every game, statement game from the Lions.
Man, I'm watching them on Thanksgiving now.
I'll be honest, I miss those Lions that just weren't complacent at all, or competent rather. Next one, another divisional matchup, Rams Seahawks. Going to the NFC West. Cody, who do you think pulls it out?
You know what? I'm actually pretty excited about this one because the Rams are looking a bit healthier. Now, Puka did leave practice with a bit of a knee injury and the same one he injured, so we'll have to take a look on that. But the run game is really good, considering you would think it shouldn't be because of that offensive line. But Matthew Stafford's still behind there. I trust the Rams and how they're coached by Sean McVay more than Seattle. Seattle seems like that team that, and I mentioned this last week, they just don't seem like that team that's ready to take that leap. There's just like they're underachieving what their roster is and what their abilities are. So I'm going with the Rams, and I just think that they are a team that's coming in the NFC West that might sneak into a wild card, especially like if we've got, a team like the Bears who was probably holding on to one of those wild cards and now they're starting to lose. Might be able to see, the Rams sneak in there. If the Eagles fall apart or whatever NFC team that's got a higher seeding, if they slip a little bit, the Rams might be a team that catapults. So I got them in this game against the Seahawks.
What's wild is if that's true, the Seahawks would lose 4 straight home games. They've had 4 of their last 5 at home, and the only win they've had against is Dom's Falcons in Atlanta.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty bad loss.
It was. That defense. The defense kills us, man.
That's the only reason I brought it up before segue into Dom in the most natural way possible. Do you think Seattle finally wins one at home, or do you agree with Cody and say that the Rams steal it?
I honestly think the Rams are going to get the win this week. Seattle, they might not be having Metcalf this week. I'm not sure if he got ruled out yet, but
he's out.
He's out. So he's out. So yeah, Metcalf's out. They got the good running back committee. They have Tyler Lockett, of course, but I feel like when Matt Stafford has his healthy receivers at Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, he's money. He's money. He's going to air the ball out. And the way he played last week, the Thursday night game, yeah, they start off a little slow, but they start warming up and they're pretty good. So I got the Rams.
Yeah, they were carving up that Vikings team on Thursday Night Football, and I can't remember. There was someone that called that game. Oh, that's right. It was me.
Oh, right. Good job, Cody. Good job. Proud of you. 2 claps for Cody. All right. Now, it's interesting. We brought up DK Metcalf. He's out. Puka Nacua is currently questionable, so we'll see his status more on Sunday. Jason, so far we got a clean sweep for the Rams. Do you agree?
I do. I think the Rams are playing much better ball right now. The Seattle is just very inconsistent. Geno and that offense don't look like they're really in sync. And then your beast Metcalf is out. Give me the Rams. They're starting to get healthier. Stafford still can throw the football, and the McVay effect. I think coaching wise, Sean McVay definitely gets the notch on that one. So, Rams aren't out of that West. They know that it's a rough division right now. Everybody's just kind of eating up on each other. They know San Francisco's hurt. They know Arizona's suspect, Seattle suspect. So Sean McVay is he's trying to come in from the outside and zoom his way in. So just watch those Rams. If they get healthy and get hot at the right time, they may take over this West.
That's an interesting take right there. I still put a lot of faith in the 49ers, but it's going to be a clean sweep. Rams, Seattle started out 3-0, and now they just they just can't do much of anything unless they're playing the Falcons. I'll stop dogging on Dom right here.
It's all good, man.
I'll dog on Jason and Cody, by the way, because they tied last week. Oh, Max saying clean sweep. Jackson celebrating. Jackson regular on our pocket as well. He's a Seattle fan of all teams you could be a fan of. He chose to be a Seattle fan. It's whatever. But Jason and Cody tied last week, and throughout these all 6 picks, they've picked the same one. I feel like there's a conspiracy theory going on right now. So we'll just kind of let
brilliant minds think alike. So we can't help that.
We just know ball. What can we say?
Knowledge.
Okay. I'll beat you both. And I'll even give you guys a little extra time because I'll start with Dom. We're at our final game to predict. It's going to be Sunday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings hoping to stay pace in the NFC North, hosting the Indianapolis Colts, and not quarterback by Anthony Richardson, quarterback by Sideline Savants, the commission's favorite quarterback, Joe Flacco. Dom, who do you have, Minnesota or Indianapolis?
I have Minnesota. I have them winning this game. Like I said before, the NFC North, they're hot. Yes, Minnesota's on a 2-game losing streak right now, but the Colts, they're going with Joe Flacco, which he's a good quarterback. Richardson should be out there, but he's soft and you want to sit out and play. But come on, now you don't do that. This is your team right here, so we got to go with the veteran. But Minnesota, they have a squad. That's another powerhouse team right there. And yes, they have their little 2-game losing streak, but Sam Darnold, he's making a statement. He's proven that okay, I belong here and this is my team right here. He has the weapons. We got a returning T.J. Hockenson. So that's another receiver right there. So Minnesota for the win.
That helps if Hawkinson's healthy and fully 100%. Jason, I'm actually going to deflect to Cody for this one. Give you the disadvantage because I know you cheat. I know you look at his notes, everything. I'll let Cody go first just to know that what's happening here.
We conspired before we got on. Okay, so this is tough. So no joke, I'm about 50-50 split for both because for the Vikings, look, they're a hot team. I think them on Thursday Night Football was an anomaly. I don't think that that's going to be their defense the rest of the season. I think that they're a pretty solid football team. Kevin O'Connell is a tremendous coach. Brian Flores has got this defense roaring really well. However, I do think that Indianapolis is a better football team with Joe Flacco throwing the ball. They've got really good receiving weapons, obviously with their running back, Jonathan Taylor, who is still one of the elite ones, but he's kind of forgotten because he's in Indy right now. Indianapolis defense is a little suspect to me, but they're 4-4 right now. And I think that what they're going to do is they're going to surprise some people because quarterback change, still playing indoors. We're not playing outdoors. We got really nothing too much to worry about. But I think that this is just going to be a game where they are a little bit inspired because, the Anthony Richardson situation, and they're progressing to let's see how well we can win. And I'm going to go with Indianapolis for the sheer fact that Joe Flacco is going to bring some magic over to Indianapolis, and I got them on the upset in Minnesota. So I'm going with Indy.
Jason, he's got your commission's favorite quarterback pulling through. And we're split right now. Dom thinks Minnesota. Cody, your buddy, the one you conspired with, picked Indianapolis. Just go ahead and tell the people.
Listen, the Indianapolis Colts are much, much better with Joe Flacco. Definitely disappointed Anthony Richardson. You don't tap out in football, man. That's weak sauce. That's terrible. And that's going to affect him the rest of his career. You don't say you're tired. Football players, they get dragged off the field and want to go back out there. So, but anyway, I'll get angry on that for a minute here. I love you, Commish. Joe Flacco, I'll give him some flowers, but there's no way they're going to be able to hang with Minnesota. I'm a little disappointed the NFL didn't take this game and kind of move it because I would have liked to see either the Broncos, Ravens, or hey, that Lions Packers would have been a much better primetime game. But Minnesota is just a better football team. They got some more weapons. They're playing a little better. That Minnesota defense is going to be on point. And, Taylor's going to run. I think he's going to get his. But Joe Flacco, I think he's going to have some trouble. He doesn't move. He doesn't run out of the pocket. He's a pocket passer. So I think Minnesota is going to pressure him, and he's going to struggle. So give me the Vikings over Joe Flacco and the Colts.
Wow. I would say that you guys will come down to Sunday night. Max saying Darnold may start seeing ghosts again. Rick 8-Bit saying this game was a flex. That's
well, they need to flex it back.
Yeah.
flex it back.
They need to throw back at the 10 a.m. spot.
Put that on a Tuesday night or something. Come on.
Hey, on Tuesday. No. Don't take away from my top quarter rankings on Tuesdays.
Go back to COVID time. Tuesday football.
Dude, think of this. Was supposed to be the Eagles and Jaguars.
Oh, that'd have been even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot dog water. No, thank you.
Yeah.
London game right there.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
But Podcast Me brings up a good point. Vikings would be a pretender if they drop this game. I still have Minnesota in my top quarter rankings, but they've fallen pretty significantly here the last couple weeks.
They need to win this game.
Yeah,
And
it
they
is.
know
I
it.
will say it's probably a must-win for the Vikings. If they don't win this one and they fall to 5-4, I mean, it really just kind of separates them from the rest of the NFC. And then also, too, it's a big confidence loss as well. I mean, they come in hot, and now you lose, what would it be, the third game in a row? And
It'd be 5-3.
I don't know how they recover from that. So,
And that opens the door for other teams to walk in. Then they got wild card into play. And, with the Commanders and Eagles and some of the other teams that are out there, the NFC West, as stacked as it is, getting some wins. Next thing you know, you're trying to fight for a playoff spot. So, yeah, Minnesota needs to come out and smack these guys in the mouth. Look, again, Flacco, I gave it to him. He definitely plays well, but I can't see him winning this game.
Well, I stood on business when I said the Chicago Bears were going to win the NFC North. I stood on business when I said the Chicago Bears were going to beat the Arizona Cardinals this week. And I'm standing on business saying that if the Bears do win this division, Minnesota loses to Joe Flacco. And Flacco's going to get these chants in the crowd. Dom, you already know how it goes. You still got it. Clap, 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 clap. You still got it, Joe. Jonathan Taylor's got it. Michael Pittman going to show up. It's going to be fun for the Colts on the road. I got the Colts winning. Cody, that is the game I hope you actually get right. So we'll hopefully get that there. But guys, we're coming towards the end of our time on Out of Pocket. I'll start bringing these guys into their weekend as I brought them on. Dom from the It Doesn't Matter podcast. Dom, if this is their first time seeing you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I want to say Twitter, X, the IDM Pod 23 or the It Doesn't Matter podcast on YouTube every Monday and Thursday.
And I've been a part of his show a couple times.
Yes.
It was fun, especially the most recent one with Paul Heyman. You guys check that out. Dom, appreciate you. And if you win, you might get to come back, defend your crown. But I already know you're shaking your head no. So it's okay.
I'm always ready. I'm always.
You can go take that Matt Cardona line somewhere else. Hey, Dom, appreciate you. And
thank you, bro.
Go Cowboys. Guys, and also coming back for back-to-back weeks, defend their crowns together. We had Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk. Man, again, now that I can say it to your face, appreciate you for helping me out last weekend. Meant a lot. But it's going to be a little bit more sweeter when I beat you this week. If people aren't familiar, where can they find you?
So they can find us at Drew Code Sports Talk. We're available on all the social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, Threads. We're on there. Find us on YouTube, same name. And then our podcast, which is on YouTube, is also audio as well. Same, wherever you get your podcast at is where we're at. Same name, Drew Code Sports Talk. Pretty easy to search. And, all of our stuff is linked down below when we put out an episode. And I encourage everyone to go subscribe or follow or whatever they do to support. And we will do the same because, Michael, as you and I were messaging back and forth, we've got a little guest spot for you coming up in the next couple of weeks. So it's really exciting and we can't wait. We want to, extend the offer in a our appreciation for you and inviting us on, and being able to be a company next to Jason, who's good sport, man. Love being able to predict games with him, and then hearing his new NBA show. It's a lot of fun. So I appreciate you boys.
Thank you.
Hey, appreciate you, my friend. I'm excited to finally get on the Drew Code Sports Talk. Appreciate you, my friend. And, hopefully you come back, next week for a guest spot, not defending your crown. But, hey, appreciate you, my friend. Have a good weekend. And then we got our guy. He has Sideline Savants, but he also, as Cody mentioned, debuted a new NBA show this week. Dude, what have you dropped this week? What can they expect? What can they expect moving forward? Let everybody know what Mr. NY is up to.
Well, I appreciate that. We dropped the new Sideline Savants this Wednesday at 12. Me and the commish doing our thing, little Halloween special. You got to check our show out. Again, Boom Broadcasting, YouTube. Check us out, please. Also, 3 from Deep shows up Mondays, 12 o'clock. We got a lot to talk about this week. You talked about it earlier. Banchero going down. That was a huge, huge hit. You got the Suns playing well. You got the Giannis drama. Look, the Bucks are looking a little rough right now. I think Doc Rivers sweating under the collar a little bit. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And again, Cleveland, the Cavaliers, 5-0, the only undefeated team in the NBA right now. So we got a lot to unpack on this brand new NBA season. And I got a few more little surprises that I like to bring into my shows. So, because I like to have fun with it. Again, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much. And Michael Davis, again, I appreciate you, man, for giving me this opportunity. It's been a blast and a dream come true. So thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate you. You're knocking it out of the park, unlike your New York Yankees this week. But you are hitting something from the deep. You're doing really good.
Appreciate it.
Out of pocket appearances, Sideline Savants, co-hosting, 3 from deep. It's a different animal doing a podcast on your own. So great job covering all that, my friend.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, guys, this has been an awesome episode of Out of Pocket. I am ready for the weekend. Guys, I want to thank Zach. I want to thank Jason. I want to thank Cody. I want to thank Dom for taking time out of their Friday evening to come join us on Out of Pocket. And thank you guys for watching us and taking time out of your day. That doesn't go unnoticed for me. I hope this was entertaining and enjoyable for you guys. Guys, I can't wait to share some of the other guest appearances I'm doing alongside the Drew Code Sports Talk. Be sure to tune into my socials for that. But guys, we got a lot of content on Boom. Go check it out. Available on demand. There will be more dropping this weekend, including my appearance on the Gridiron Address live Sunday evening with our host, Aaron Schneider. Guys, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And Out of Pocket will be back this Monday.
Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. We had a ball making it. Thank you